That Keys Energy. Welcome to tonight's restorative. For tonight's class, you will need 2 throw-size blankets, 2 yoga blocks, and either a wall or a chair to close and lace up the wall. So we'll go ahead and get started coming into Sukhasana, heels in line with the ground. Starting to rock side to side, feeling the sit bones connect to the earth beneath you. Coming into just a little bit of stillness here. Bringing the shoulders up to the ears. Waterfall the shoulder blades down the back. And start to imagine there's a string on the top of your head, pulling you just a little bit taller. If it feels safe, close the eyes. And if it doesn't feel safe, just lower the gaze down to the earth. Taking the next few moments, start to notice where that breath wants to go tonight. And notice where the breath doesn't want to go. And tonight we're going to open with a breath that we very rarely do. It's called the cooling breath. And there are 2 ways to do it. It totally depends on what your tongue will or will not do, which sounds horrible, but it's true. So to do cooling breath, we breathe in through the nose, and then we roll our tongue, if it's possible, make a little tube with the tongue and breathe out. So it looks like this. Not everybody can roll their tongue. That is a genetic thing. Either you can or you can't. If rolling your tongue is not available to you, then simply putting the tongue out of the mouth, not in full lion's breath, not like, but just letting the tongue come out of the lips a little bit and breathing out gently that way is also cooling. So breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the tongue. And staying with this breath pattern. So what this breath pattern does beautifully is release the energetic fire, that stuff that makes us angry and ornery and some of that chaotic energy that's kind of floating around right now. So what this cooling breath will help is pull that energy out of the body. You're literally blowing it out. And the breath you breathe in through the nose rebalances both sides of the brain. So this is an excellent pranayama to come into just about anywhere. Anytime you feel that you're frustrated, you feel things starting to come up to the surface that aren't what you can deal with right now, this is a breath that you can come back to time and time again. Doing 3 more rounds. And returning back to deep yogic breathing. Bringing the hands to Anjali Heart Center, pressing the thumbs into the sternum. Take just a moment to set a sankalpa or an intent for tonight's practice. This is your practice. Make it personal. Exhale, release the hands to the knees, drop the chin to the chest. Inhale the ear to one shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, ear to opposite shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Continue with this. Let your breath start to carry you. When the ear finds one shoulder, go ahead and hold it there. Bring that same arm up and over, adding just a little bit of pressure. And walk the opposite hand away from the body. And walking the hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, come back to center. Switching sides, bringing the ear to the opposite shoulder. Bring that same arm up and over. And walk the opposite hand away from the body. And walking the hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, lift up. We are going to grab either, if you have a bolster, you're going to grab your bolster. If you're using blankets, we are actually going to fold 2 blankets together to make an extra fat burrito. I like to start at the fringe edge and roll in, but you'll end up with a burrito that looks something like that. We're going to bring that burrito widthwise onto the mat, and then just simply bring the legs over. Let the legs roll, toes pop out. Maybe help the flesh away from the sit bones. And we're going to lift up through the spine and walk the hands forward, coming into a Paschimottanasana. Now, in most vinyasa classes, in most yoga classes, we talk about active legs. We never want the back to round. But in yin and restorative, we're working different muscles and we're looking for a different goal. So please just round the back, let that head get super heavy here. Breathe in. Taking 5 more slow, deep breaths here. Bringing the hands back, walking yourself back up to a seated position. We're going to take our bolsters and our burritos, slip them out from underneath the knees. Staying in this seated position, we're going to take our right leg and invite that right heel back by the glute. If your knee is talking to you right now, maybe go ahead and hit pause, grab a washcloth, roll the washcloth up into a little baby taco, and slip that in the hinge joint. That will create space and offer support. From here, we're going to bring the knees in as close as is comfortable and lift up through the spine. We'll bring your burrito or your bolster on your extended leg. You're going to walk the body forward and up the head. Remember, if that flexibility and range of motion isn't available to you, we have blocks. You rest the block on your head on your block. We're only going to be here for about 3 minutes or so on each side. Slowly deepen your breath. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders and walk yourself back up to a seated position. We're going to take the burrito off the extended leg. We're going to go ahead and switch sides. Taking your extended leg, hugging the heel in towards the glute. Noticing the difference between the sides. Maybe this knee needs to be supported with a washcloth. Taking your bolster, resting it on the extended leg. Lift up through the spine and then walk the body forward. Slowly taking your breath. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Walk yourself back up to a seated position. Releasing the bent knee. Go ahead and roll out the legs. You're going to bring your bolster or your burrito about a third of the way down from the top of the mat. We'll bring a block at the top of the mat. The block is either going to be on the mama bear or papa bear level. This is going to be your forehead pillow for the next move. We're going to come on to the belly, bringing the chest up and over the bolster. So the rib cages are being supported here. We're going to come into the Kelly. So walking one arm across the body in one direction, walking one arm across the body in the opposite direction. Activating those fingers slightly, really clawing onto the floor. That does make a slight difference here. And then resting the forehead down onto your pillow. more deep breaths here. And take the arm that is in front, uncross it, and thread it back underneath, effectively reversing the crosses of the arms, coming into the Kelly on the opposite side. Slowly deepen your breath. Uncross the arms. We'll bring the hands right underneath the shoulders and then push our hips back to meet our heels in a balasana, child's pose. And then bringing those hands back underneath the shoulders, pushing ourselves back up. We're going to bring our bolsters, our burritos, and our blocks off the mat. You'll want to make sure that both blocks are close, but we don't need them quite yet. We're going to go ahead and come flat onto our backs. Extending the legs down the mat, bringing the arms up overhead, creating a full body stretch from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. And then from here, we're going to take our hips and bring our hips to the left wide edge of the mat. Both shoulder blades and both hips stay on the ground. From here, we're going to take both feet to the right corner of the mat. Taking the left leg and crossing it over the right. Awesome. Hi, hips. From here, we're going to walk the hands to the right corner and bring the left hand on top. Again, both shoulders and both hips are still touching the ground. Coming into a pose we know as banana asana. Slowly deepening the breath. Bringing the arms and the upper body back to center. Bringing the legs back to center. Bringing the hips back to center. Extending the length of the mat again for full body stretch. And then bringing those hips over to the right wide edge of the mat. Walking the feet into the left corner with the right ankle on top. Bringing the arms into the left corner with the right hand on top. Coming into banana asana on the opposite side. Slowly start to deepen your breath. And bring the arms and torso back to center. Bring the legs back to center. And bring the hips back to center. Mooshing the hips from side to side. We're going to grab both our blocks and bring both our blocks on the baby bear level and make a little platform of sorts for your hips. We'll bend both knees and plant the soles of the feet onto the ground. Put the weight into the heels, lift the hips up, and slip both blocks right underneath your hips. Straightening both legs, bringing the legs out as wide as physically comfortable for your body. And then bringing the arms up overhead for a pose we know as starfish. I know that there's a few of you out there that practice with me that the blocks don't feel good. So if the blocks aren't feeling good, maybe try one blanket rolled in a burrito. I'm going to hang out here for about 5 minutes. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Bringing the arms down by your side body. Bending both knees, planting the soles of the feet onto the ground. Putting the weight into the heels, lifting the hips up and removing both blocks. We're going to go ahead and put one block off to the side and keep one. Most likely we're all going to be on this mama bear level. Papa bear gets really intense if you try to hold it for 5 minutes, but you're welcome to. Baby bear doesn't often give us the stretch we're looking for. So if you start on mama bear and it's too much, then please go back down to baby bear. But I'm going to suggest we start here. Put all the way into the heels, lift the hips up and slip one block beneath the hips. Take a moment, parallel the feet, and then walk the shoulder blades down the back like you're reaching for your heels. You don't actually need to touch your heels. You don't need to bring the heels back towards your hands. Just lengthen the neck for reaching for the heels. Breathe in here, supported bridge. Slowly deepen the breath. Put all the way into the heels and lift the hips up. Removing the block, come back onto your spine. Take a moment, hug the knees up to the chest, make yourself into a small ball. Maybe rock side to side, maybe rock up and down the mat, giving yourself a little bit of a back massage. Finally coming up to a seated position. We are going to close in legs up the wall or legs up the chair. If that is not a closing posture that is comfortable for you, please feel free to come into Savasana. This is your practice. Sometimes in restorative, a bolster under the knees in Savasana feels delicious. If you'd like to practice legs up the wall or legs up the chair with me, go ahead and grab a blanket and fold it up. This is especially important if you might be pregnant, or if your low back hurts, or if you just want to make this pose amazing. And then if you're using a chair, I think it's more comfortable to put a blanket over the chair, but that's me. What is most important is you come up onto the side of your hip and that your booty is touching the wall. From here, you're going to slip onto your back and slip the legs up the wall or up the chair. If you're going up the wall, your booty, your thighs, your calves, and your heels will be touching the wall. If you're doing the chair, the calves just rest on the seat of the chair. It's yogi's choice what you do with your arms. Maybe you walk those shoulder blades down the back with the palms facing up. Maybe it feels good to open the arms out wide like a T and take up space. Maybe it feels energetically good to bring the arms up overhead and open up those lungs for slightly deeper breath. Do what feels right for you. Slowly deepen your breath and start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Bending both knees, sliding the feet down the wall. Pause here. Rolling over onto one side. Bringing to mind one thing that you love about yourself. One thing that you're grateful for right now. And offering yourself just a moment of gratitude for taking time to practice today. Staying here on your side for 5 slow, deep breaths. Pushing yourself up to a seated position with hands at Anjali Heart Center. And I leave you with these words from page 184 of the Chameleon Aura. Awaken. Stop waiting for an apology from the people who hurt you to finally give yourself permission to heal. Make love to the parts of yourself that old connections disconnected. Dip the parts they broke off into self-love. Wait for no one to come along and to kiss your wounds. I am so grateful for the opportunity to practice with each and every one of you beautiful beings. I hope you leave this practice feeling just a skosh better than when we started. The light in me so very much honors the light in you. Namaste. If you find value in this practice, please consider sharing this Patreon with your friends and family. We do this practice every night, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and it's always free, so please think about sharing the link with your friends and family. If you're looking for some specific content, something that you can't find via the search bar, shoot me a DM. I love to create inspired content. In the meantime, be kind to yourself.